Fishing like a local isn't just about catching fish. It's about connecting with the environment and the people who call it home. It's about hearing the stories and traditions that have been passed down for generations and sharing unforgettable moments with the people you meet along the way. Fishing like a local is having an experience that stays with you forever. And with Fishing Booker, you can experience it too, no matter where you are. Discover your next adventure on Fishing Booker.
This upcoming concert season will be all about the boots, and Tecovas is your stop for the best in Western style. Tecovas has seasonal and limited edition offerings this spring and summer, including men's and women's boots, apparel, hats, bags, and more. All Tecovas boots are made by hand in a time-honored tradition with timeless styles that are always on trend. And Tecovas has first wear comfort with little to no break-in period. It's hard to find this level of comfort paired with this level of style. Stop by your local Tecovas store, have a complimentary drink or two, that's WCB style, and shop new styles. The smell of fresh leather and friendly staff are at your service. Many stores even have leather custom branding to make your boots truly personalized. And with regular live music and events, there's no in-store experience like it. If you can't make it into a store, just visit tecovas.com. That's TECOVAS.com. They offer free shipping on all boots, as well as free returns and exchanges, and ship right to your door. Go to tecovas.com and find your new favorite pair of boots today.
Hello and welcome to the Publicly Challenged Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Oswald, and I hope you join me on my quest for knowledge to become a better public land hunter, angler, and forager. Stick with this and who knows, maybe we will learn something together. Bro, people are freaking wild. People are insane on social media. And here's the thing. Maybe sometimes when you're texting, that's why I hate texting, number one. Totally different generation. I would rather call somebody and spend 2 minutes talking to them than 20 minutes sending across text messages that you have to send that many because you can't get your point across in the right words or the right context with just letters on the screen.
Yeah. Well, me and you are exactly the same age, and we are old fuddy-duddies. And,
I don't care.
But I feel the exact same way. Texting is, unless it is like, I'm heading to your home right now.
Exactly.
Or like some information.
It doesn't get relayed properly.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a scenario right now. That's the thing. It's driving me nuts. But okay. So today I made a comment and now I feel like you, okay? It doesn't bother me, but it's just wild. It blows my mind that people are so willing to just maliciously tear somebody apart without actually even stopping one to fully read the comment. Okay. Maybe I didn't have the right quote, punctuation in there. Maybe there should have been a comma or something. But I said, grass-fed, a good high quality or something like that, grass-fed butter does not burn like. Maybe I should have put quite like. Okay? Regular store-bought butter. Okay. When you get butter that's white and full of milk solids, right? Because it's just white and it's got lacking beta carotene that just makes it glow orange. You know what I mean? Like gold.
Yeah.
Like you're holding a bar of gold. There is a difference. Maybe I'm wrong and you're going to call me out on the science and tell me I'm a complete freaking moron. And according to one person, I should change my name on social media from publicly challenged to mentally challenged, which I did. I had the same response as you. I laughed. But then I started to type and I was going to be like, oh, sick burn, dude. Maybe I should so I could be cool like you. And then I was like, wait a minute. If I'm about to comment like that and stoop to this person's level, I should just stop. One, stop reading it. Two, stop looking at it. And then if people keep just and one out of all of them, okay? One guy said, bro, that's wild. Show me the data. But at least he was like, hey, maybe there is science behind it and I just don't know it, right? Everybody else was just like coming up with these lofty, off the wall, like backhanded freaking, remarks. And it's like, okay, and I guess that's social media. Everybody can be a warrior, but we know that it's higher in omega-3s, healthy acids, right? Fatty acids. We know that is what is the CLA, the collagen, and I'm going to mess it up. You know what I'm saying? But it's like the linoleic acid.
Conjugated linoleic acid.
Yes. See, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, CLA. I said, what did I say? Conjugated? Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Conjugal.
Yeah, conjugal linoleic acid. Yeah, that's what I said. But all of those things do tie into, and I'm talking like 2 minutes in the pan at the same heat. And if you put any butter on high heat, it's going to burn immediately. But maybe they're just amateurs and don't know how to cook. I don't know. Yeah. Okay? But here's my thing. If you take high quality, like raw grass-fed butter that you get from some lady down the road that makes it from her own cow, which I've done, and you chop off the same size block and you put it in on the same heat on the pan, I'm talking like 2 minutes before the gold one starts browning and turning brown and burning those milk fats before the other one does. I'm not saying it doesn't burn at all, but that's what these people thought. Like, and they're just going wild on it.
Well, okay, but that's because social media is now responsible for if you say this, then this, You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's a lot of that jump to conclusion stuff. Like, okay, since you said that golden butter of yours doesn't burn, that logically means in their mind that you just suggested that all butter doesn't burn.
Correct.
Yeah.
Isn't that so messed up though?
Yeah, I mean the whole thing's crazy. Nobody reads with their eyes anymore; they read with their emotions.
And it was all about cooking morels. And so this guy on social media that posted, that's well known. We don't need to call him out, I guess, but he posted and he's like, "Oh, I cook them in water first, and then I add an oil, and then after I add the oil, about 5 minutes in, after cooking them in the oil." Then, the last final 2 minutes, I add butter and let that get the butter flavor without whatever. None of that is necessary in the first place. 5 minutes in a pan cooks morel to where it's edible without any negative actions. You know what I'm saying? But the person does that, and only one person out of everybody commented and said, "Bro, it's totally unnecessary. You're taking away the delicate flavor of the morel." This news story that happened that the person was talking about a sushi place that served sushi with raw morels on it, and 42 people got sick.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, just craziness.
Well, every few years, it seems like there's like a happening where there's a bunch of people getting sick from raw morels or something.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if you remember. It's
the
probably
wedding?
5 or 6 years ago. No, 5 or 6 years ago, there was a book that somebody released. And it was probably some like Instagram forager.
Okay.
Like just didn't really. I can't even remember who it was. Probably somebody with zero experience, like just kind of wrote.
But a lot of street cred on the gram only.
Yeah, exactly. And so there was a whole thing about how of eating raw morels.
Okay.
And the book actually ended up getting pulled from the shelves because of it.
Yeah. No mushroom. I mean, no mushroom.
Yeah.
Even a button mushroom, right? What is it? Not almond agaricus. Is it almond agaricus? What's the one that's like the button mushroom, like the Campbell's mushroom that you see everywhere? That's like the most common. You know what I mean?
You're talking about just button mushrooms?
Yeah, but like there's a name for it. It's not just. It's like the white almond agaricus or something, or almond something. Yeah, which is a button mushroom.
Just agaric mushrooms, right?
Yeah. Okay. So even those should not be consumed raw, but a lot of times people put them on a salad. And if you consume too many of those, you will notice effects. Yeah.
Yeah. But the whole thing with the butter is to me is just silly because ghee can be made really easily.
Ghee can. You are correct. But I'm just saying, like, and maybe I'm wrong. Call me out on this. Tell me I'm a
no. I don't.
Tell
think,
me
I
I'm
don't
a
think you're
complete freaking moron that I can't get like 2 more minutes out of like a higher quality natural butter, like a regular butter versus something that probably has oils and just a bunch of milk fats in it, and it's probably made up of like hydrogenated oils and milk fat.
I mean, don't you think it just comes down to temperature, right?
Same temp.
Like,
I'm talking like no joke. Same temp.
No, I'm saying though, like in general, like this person who made this post, and I saw the post too, by the way. This person that made this post, like, couldn't you just theoretically just cook your morels longer in butter, but at a lower temperature?
Yeah, so the milk fat doesn't burn. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I mean, I use mine on like a medium heat. I don't go medium high. I don't go whatever. And it takes like 10 minutes and they're cooked.
So what? Okay, but I'm just confused. Like, I mean, I know you don't want to. It's not like optimal to like burn your butter, but like, what's the big deal about like who cares if your butter like if you get a little bit of smoke in your pan?
Once again, yes, I agree with that. Who cares? You can still cook in it. They say that it doesn't have an optimal flavor, or like, is it bad for you? I don't think so. Why did they make brown buttered sauce?
Yeah,
for like what is it? Not raviolis, but like tortellinis in a brown butter sauce. Like that's a thing.
I swear, and I am not accusing this person of doing this, but I swear there is like a thing that's happening in the foraging world where we've been on this merry-go-round for years of, morels, fiddlehead ferns, everything in just this like merry-go-round. It's like a circle that happens every year. And now people are like just getting sick of it. Like, so they're just like grasping at straws to like come up with anything new to talk about. So like, don't put butter on your morels.
Yeah. I'm going to do a whole thing on like milkweed shoots or something and be like, I don't know. I don't even know exactly where I'm going with it, but I'm going to do something off the wall to where people want to hang me and then be like, oh, well, I'm still not dead. Like,
with milkweed shoots, yeah,
like,
I don't know. I mean,
3 minutes in boiling water is enough.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Thayer just will occasionally eat them raw. So...
Yeah, but how many? Are we talking like, because I've talked to Sam about this before though. And I've asked him, I'm like, okay, when you eat these, like how much are you eating to prove your point multiple times? That, I asked him that because he said, like I'll eat it. And he said, I'm talking consuming an amount that no normal human would ever consume within a meal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And he goes, no, seriously, like whatever somebody would consume, I'm going to eat an entire bowl of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sam is, like he has eaten questionable things throughout his time too, though. So like that is an important thing to know that, I mean, maybe it's like he's testing things on himself.
Yeah. But that's fine.
Like I was on the phone with him last year and he was eating, or like the day prior, he had eaten a carrot family member that he did not he didn't know. He was pretty sure that it was like,
ooh, wow,
like
what is this?
I know that it turned out to be edible. But I was like, geez, dude, what a gamble, man.
Oh, like straight up didn't. Okay.
No, like he had searched through like all of the available,
okay, and
resources, and he had found kind of like no known information on whether or not this plant was like actually edible, and he had a sneaking suspicion that it was, but I'm like, I was like, Sam, dude, you're wild. You didn't want to like maybe like send that off to get tested in a lab or something.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. The lab's going to say, oh, it's got this in it. But it could be a level that's like 0.00001% of whatever this compound is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like 5% threshold where it's actually toxic to a human. That's the same thing like the whole circular thing you're talking about with like ghost pipe, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what is it? It like causes renal failure or something crazy or what?
Yeah.
but yet there's like no real evidence of that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe in that regard, but with the carrot family, I would say that some of the most dangerous plants in the world
That's
come
true.
from the carrot family.
Yeah.
So like, in that instance, yeah, I probably would have just been like, you know what? I got a buddy that works at a lab and he can analyze this. I'm gonna send it to him and see what he comes up with.
I don't know. I mean,
but also here's the other thing. I don't really care that much. You know that saying, there are old mushroom hunters and there are bold mushroom hunters, but there are not old and bold mushroom hunters.
yeah, I think that's kind of crap too, though. I mean,
Yeah, I just like, I've come to a point. I've been foraging for like 18 years ish,
Mhm.
and I'm just cool with knowing what I know, and I might learn some new things. But like basically, I'm not interested in like being one of those people who wants to like push the boundaries and eat everything.
no,
Like,
but you do need those people. You do need those people, though, right? I mean,
I don't know if you do, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if you read a lot of the available books on anthropology of like, say, Michigan area,
mhm.
like they were not eating like hundreds of plants here. Like,
No,
like,
that's
like,
probably
like,
like a good 50 or 60, but like,
yeah. So that
yeah.
like the thing is that like in the foraging community, we often say to everybody like, oh, like, they were utilizing everything on the land, and that's just actually not true, because people uh in the past are the same as they are now. People have habits that they get used to. They like
Yeah.
cooking with certain ingredients, and they probably had an awareness of a lot of plants that were like suboptimal for eating, and may have eaten them in times of like no other food. But
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear from the evidence that most of the Michigan tribes had zero mushrooms at all in their diet. They were actually very phobic of, and this goes for, Midwest in general, right? So like you're talking Bayou as well.
Even like psilocybe mushrooms.
Yeah, any mushroom. They were extremely mycophobic.
So what did they do for all their vision quests? Like,
That was just the old-fashioned way, man.
starvation and dehydration.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And no, so the one mushroom that I will say that they did eat was puffballs. That's well known in the
And those are
literature.
like some of the worst ones out of all of them. Like
I know.
puffballs
So
are like pointless.
I know. They taste like butter or coconut oil or
Not even.
I know, I was just kidding.
It's like say your grandma has this sponge that she keeps on the corner of her tub that's been there for like 30 years to keep like drips away from going down and creating mildew or something, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you re-moisten it. So it's still crumbly because it's an old ass sponge.
Yeah.
But it's wet.
Listen, man, I'm with you. That's another one that I don't really care for. I don't really eat it. I love to play puffball baseball.
I've seen that. I kick them. I bring them home and kick them just so I can
Yeah.
have puffballs grow.
Yeah.
Even though I'm still not going to eat them.
Yeah.
And they always get so dang buggy, dude.
Yeah. Dude, you know what I think would be really funny? Go to an actual golf course and take puffballs out there, and then just knock them open when they're fully mature, right? So you're just
So
like
wait a minute though.
spreading-
You're talking like small ones that never got like not a giant puffball.
No, giant puffballs.
Oh,
I'm
see
talking
now
about-
I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so they'll spread everywhere is what you're saying.
Yeah, and then the golfers will be like,
What the heck is it? You know what though? They spray so many chemicals on the courses that honestly, who knows if the mycelium would ever even grow.
Yeah, you're probably right. But back to my original point. I don't think that there was as many people eating as many things as possible.
I agree.
And like I've kind of had like a little bit of a shift this year as well, in that I am devoting a little bit more time this year to my farming efforts, and I've got only 1/3 of an acre right out there, and I have turned a bunch of it into I've tilled up like most of it, and I'm growing lots of stuff out there.
Yeah, your kids won't even have any room to play by the time you're done.
Yeah, who cares?
Heck with
but
those kids.
Yeah, but we we are doing that, and I've been kind of shifting my thinking a lot about this in general, because like we've been making these claims once again in the foraging world, like that you could feed the world on wild food, and I actually am just starting to believe that that's not true. And then you couple that with reading again a lot of the resources of anthropology that I've read about the native tribes here or in Australia or whatever.
Well, they would like plant their food forest and then like leave it and migrate back to them, right? Like,
Where are you talking about?
so like different like tribes, like
Yeah, but
yeah.
okay, but no, I mean you had like for instance, my grandpa used to live in Rock Island, Illinois.
Yep.
And I used to go to this like native museum there, and they used to talk about the intense agriculture that they did right there, because native people planted in a style called flood retreat agriculture. So they were like they were allowing the Mississippi right there to kind of like flood the banks and wash up all those nutrients, and then as the water would retreat, they'd come in there and just like plant like literally like insane like miles of corn, right?
Yeah, but so when they did the corn, like when did corn come about then that they did that? Like that wasn't always a staple. I mean, that was something that was modified over time, right? It's not something they always had. That came all the way from like Mexico somewhere, right?
Yeah, so corn came from Mexico, but and surprisingly, I think corn only got to like Illinois, Michigan, in like the 1400s.
Okay.
I think that's what they assume.
But that's the other thing that blows my mind is like there's so much speculation on how things were, and we really have no freaking idea. And it's just people's, yeah, I believe. And then like all of a sudden that's like what it is, right? Like somebody's just pontificating, and then one day that becomes law of like the science behind it.
Okay, but one way that they absolutely can tell through time is pollen.
Okay, yeah.
But that is an imprecise thing as well in some regard, because I believe what they do is they look in bogs. So they're kind of like looking at the sediment level in old bogs, because it kind of preserves, like with the acidity, it kind of preserves the pollen.
Right.
And they can see layer upon layer. And that's how we know like certain things. Like Tom Wessels was on here, and he talked about how we can see in the pollen record that hemlock was gone for 1,000 years from northeastern forests.
But then it just came back. Yeah.
Then it just came back.
Which is wild. That's what's crazy. So get this. Like all the not elms, sorry, ash trees.
Yeah.
Almost all of them have died off, right? The other day I was walking with one of my friends, and we were actually looking for morels, ended up finding a bunch of like ramps, wild garlic, all kinds of other stuff, wild onions, both native and not native to the area, which is kind of weird, but like it seems like the non-native definitely outcompete the native, but
you're talking field garlic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But so all of that being said, there's starting to be that there was ash trees, like little baby ash trees growing. And I was like, whoa, that's wild. There was like a stand of like 12 of them that were like 4 feet tall.
Yeah. You're behind us, but Michigan, specifically Metro Detroit, was the very first place to get the emerald ash borer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like, I kind of feel like in some ways, like I've been saying this for a long time. Like, there's tons of ash trees, grow young ash trees, and people have been freaking out about the emerald ash borer. And as the same thing with the invasive species, they're just kind of like losing their marbles. They can't really like think coherently about it.
Right.
And if you actually walk around the forest, you go, okay, like there are ash trees all over the place. when they do get old enough, many of them are susceptible to the emerald ash borer.
Mm-hmm.
But
many will survive.
But at some point, we will see one or two that will probably be resistant enough to start spreading that gene throughout their communities.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And that's what I'm thinking, though. Like, it's crazy that all the ash trees, I haven't seen an ash tree in forever, like any ash tree, not even like little ones, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden you walk into like different sections of forest and they're just sprouting up like it's no big deal. Like, hey, we're here, we're growing.
Every time I drive to a state that still has ash trees, like a few years ago, I remember I was out in South Dakota, and I remember being like, "Wow, what the hell is that tree?" And
You're right, because you don't see them anymore. The only ones we see around here are ones with like dead bark, and they're like all blown over. You know what I mean? There's no bark left.
Yep. Well, boy, I tell you, man, the woodcutters, though, they had a glorious day here in Michigan when all the ashes originally died, because ash is such a good firewood.
Oh, yeah. No, me too. Yeah. I've still got, like, I've been dragging them out, like, left, because there's still a bunch that are standing that are completely dead and dry. And, like, last winter, I split probably two, what is a face cord's a smaller one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 face cords. And I split it in like, I don't know, September or October, like the end of summer where it really didn't have a chance to dry because it was standing. It was so dry already and dead that I split it and burned it, and it burned just fine. Like, I tested it on the moisture tester, and I think it was like maybe 1% higher than like, you know, like your optimal like 12 to 13% or whatever. It was like 15 or 14, you know what I mean? Like right in there.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ash trees, though, that was another boon here, is when all the ash trees died. That was exactly where you looked for morels.
I don't find them around them. I found them around elm trees a lot, but not ash trees.
Dead ash trees up here in northern Michigan. Dead ash trees were like, for a while, like one of the best places to look.
That's wild to me, because I still look. Any dead tree, I'm like, And sometimes, here's what's strange. I've even found them around oak trees, like dead oaks, and then be like, oh, there's 2 morels there. It wasn't like a whole bunch of them, but
yeah, okay. Well, nothing. Literally, there is nothing you could say. If an astronaut came back from the moon and said, "I found a morel on the moon," I'd be like, "Makes sense."
Totally, I totally agree with that. So, like, I had a black walnut tree in my yard, okay, and it was half dead or pretty well dead, and it was right by the driveway, so I had to cut it down. You know what I mean? I like, you never knew that there was always branches falling, and I'm like, good thing I don't have anything parked in the driveway, but if somebody else comes and a storm comes, like half that tree comes down, crushes their car, that's going to suck for me, you know? That's going to be a bad day for Luke. So cut it down, and people were like, oh, why are you cutting that tree down? Well, because it's dead. You know, like people would literally stop and be like, why are you cutting that tree down? Because, I mean, it was an old tree. It was big, you know? Why are you cutting that down? And as I'm sawing, like, the base is hollow for 3/4 of it. You know what I mean? Like, just wild.
Yeah. So you live in a place that was probably historically prairie. You should just tell people that. I'm just trying to restore this place. Yeah, the native habitat here.
Yeah. I don't think where I'm at, well, it might have been like, what do you call it, the open prairie or whatever. Yeah.
Like
oak
a
savanna, but a walnut savanna, really.
So walnuts typically grow in like a lot richer, like wetter soil.
Yeah.
Kinda?
So it's because of the creek and because it, you know, floods up and everything. But it's like super crazy. Everybody around me is super sandy, and I'm like rocky and rich soil because of the creek bed. But a lot of clay too.
Oh, that's
not
cool.
you, but a lot of clay. No, but I'm going to. Didn't I tell you this?
You're gonna make pottery?
Yes, but I'm gonna do it like without a wheel. I'm totally gonna do it to where you add. I don't know what they call it. I haven't fully researched it yet, but I've watched a guy on YouTube a couple times, and it's wild and it blows my mind. And this guy's really cool. He's some old dude. He's not even that old, probably, but something. It's like his name, something pottery, ancient pottery or something. But it's really cool. And so he'll even take like bricks and stack them up on like the concrete in his driveway in the backyard and like make a little fire and then take 2 bricks and set them in there and set his bowls or whatever he makes right on there and then covers it up and like lets it just cook and that's how he fires it. And it works. Like you don't need some big super expensive electric kiln or anything. Like it's awesome to see him do it that way because it's like that's the way it was probably done is over a campfire, you know?
Yep. You saying that he was old reminds me of a couple of years ago. I was standing in line in Petoskey, just north of here, and there was a woman in front of me, and we were chatting because we were in a big line, and she says, "Yeah, I'm going to my 20-year high school reunion," and I was like, "Wow, you don't look that old." And then I walked out of the store, and I thought, wait a minute,
I'm that old.
I know, and I was like, I'm 38. I'm like, I too could go to my 20-year high school reunion.
Yeah, I just did a couple of years ago. So yeah.
And but isn't that funny? Like your perception, you can be like, I feel young, and then you're like 20 years. Wow, you're an old fogey.
Yeah. No, I mean this he's probably in his mid 60s. You know,
Okay.
like to me,
So
I'm not there yet. You know, but he's older and wiser than me for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, he goes and he even takes like dirt that doesn't even have that much clay in it and like makes a slurry and like the clay settles out or whatever, you know, and and like he'll pour it off and like filter out the clay that way. He's like, but you know, if you go to a place that's rich in clay, it's a lot easier, you know.
Yeah.
And like in my creek, I've gotten solid clay chunks just like in my hand, the size of my fist or bigger. Just you know, pick them up and you can find them. So I'm really gonna get a bunch of clay and make something cool.
I think that'd be awesome. We have like mini pockets of clay here occasionally. So in all the sand, occasionally you'll find a spot that you can just like dig down. And actually, that spot that you came up here one time, the Grand Traverse Commons. Yeah. There's a little clay pocket in there, and the Human Nature School. Shout out to the Human Nature School. They take their kids sometimes and go dig up clay and make little pottery, and they'll fire it right there.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we get together and then we'll make a clay pot, and then in that clay pot we'll cook some catfish and some foraged items and make like a catfish stew or something weird and eat it. That doesn't sound good, does it?
Catfish stew? I mean, I'm sure if you did it correct, like basically I'm prepared to say that like Lorenzo or you know, Chef Danny or Alan Burgo could turn just about anything that we think might sound totally disgusting into something edible.
All right. So we need to bring Lorenzo down then too, huh?
Yeah. And actually, Lorenzo told me, so shout out to you, Lorenzo. I know you're listening now. He said he listens to most of our podcasts, and I was like, what? You do?
Well, it's because you're on there. It has nothing to do with me. But that's cool.
Yeah.
Get cooking, or what does he say? I can't understand it. I'm going to be honest, Lorenzo. I know it's cool and it's like your catchphrase, but I really still don't know what it says.
He's saying happy cooking, but he's going, yeah, happy cooking.
Every time? Because I'm pretty sure sometimes he's saying get cooking.
No, I don't think so. I think you just got
and
your
sometimes
old man ears.
I hear him say, be cooking. I don't know what he says. I'm going to be honest. It's cool. It's catchy. I like it because you do it all the time, but I still don't know what it is. Maybe, and that goes back, no offense, that's just me and Clay. We're old fogies. We're old farts, and we have a hard time realizing that. We still like to call people rather than text. We drive over places to visit. You know, that's like a non-existent thing anymore.
I know. You go knock on. You ever do that anymore? Just knock on somebody's door unannounced?
I do.
Yeah. People
and they look at me like, "What the heck are you doing?" Like I'm like an alien or something. I'm like, I thought we were friends, dude. Like I'm in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then I got one friend that I never do stop, only because he wants me to stop. Like, so I just every time I'm in the area and I drive by, I lay on the horn. He lives like, so his patch. There's like a little patch of like timber that separates his house from the road. and it's on a curve. So like on the curve, I just lay on the horn the whole way through the curve. And then he'll ask me like 2 days later, he'll be like, did you drive by the other day? And I'm like, yep. And he's like, why didn't you stop?
You should knock on his door and ask him if he can come out to play.
I do. And he does. He's like, okay. He's like the one friend that like still likes people to drop by and like, I don't know, just good people, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't it freaking weird though that we're so
antisocial?
Yeah, like as a society, like when I see people like coming over my house or whatever, I'm always like, oh, friends, like it's like exciting to me.
Yes.
Like it's not something that I'm like, oh darn it, I don't want to have to socialize. I'd rather watch an episode of some TV show on Netflix.
That shows how disconnected from reality we really are. And it goes back to the social media thing. People would rather blast somebody on social media than like present evidence or facts. How many times have you said something that's irrefutable, but people lose their minds and trash you over it without, one, fully reading it, and two, providing any evidence to the contrary of what you have said?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's all the time. I would like to say that maybe there's some sort of shift happening in that regard, possibly. What's his name? Spicewood Bushcraft. Is that his name? Yeah. So yeah, or no, Spice Bush. Yeah, that's what I already said. Spice Bush Woodcraft. Yeah, he on Instagram. I apologize, I don't know his actual name.
You terrible person.
But we have been communicating in a very, very cordial manner. So I made that post yesterday, May 2nd, about how I will girdle some buckthorn trees in order to starve them of nutrients and kill them. But then I admitted in the video that like I'm still not sold on the invasion biology theory, and how I think that I personally would do the exact same and have done the exact same thing. Like for instance, at any stinging nettle patch, stinging nettle requires full sun. So any encroaching plants on a full sun or on a stinging nettle patch will eventually start to shade it out. So I'll straight up cut whole trees out of those patches sometimes, right?
Yeah. Why is it that I still find stinging nettle? It's just not like a patch of it. It's real sparse, but you'll find like 3 plants.
Yeah, because it's just like it can't do that good in shade.
Okay.
So like
okay.
Yeah, it's a shade.
So you still find it, but it's not going to thrive in full sun.
Yeah, it's like the same way you can be in the middle of the freaking forest and find a dandelion. It's not like, but you're not going to find a field of them in the forest.
Touché. Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Can I ask you this real quick because we're on the topic of nettles?
Yeah.
Wood nettle. A lot of people say you can't eat it. You can't eat it. We know this.
Yeah.
Is it worth eating, and why don't more people eat it then if it is?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think most people don't eat wood nettle because it's stings like a son of a gun. It is like the
But it seems like it has less trichomes on the leaf and there's way more like spiky barbs on the stem. Looking at it and playing with it.
That plant will leave you numb for a day.
I love that feeling actually.
It's like a million times worse than stinging nettle though. I always joke around at my foraging classes and I say that they did the Iceland Greenland thing with the stinging nettle and wood nettle. They named them in reverse because their wood nettle stings way worse. And then the other reason is it's just not a lot there. Like when you look at a wood nettle plant, you're seeing like mostly stem
and like 6 leaves.
Yeah. So like it takes a lot to gather that, right?
A lot of stings. That's where what is it? The juice isn't worth the squeeze, or the
exactly.
The sting isn't worth the meal.
Yeah. Madeline has actually collected vast amounts of wood nettle before. To sell to local restaurants because we have some rather huge wood nettle patches up here.
Okay.
And but I'm just like, it's not worth it. She'll wear like heavy duty gloves when she collects that stuff, though.
But are the restaurants like, oh yeah, it's great, keep it coming, it's better than Nettles?
No, they just kind of think it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah. But let me get back here really quick. So Spice Bush Woodcraft, great, very cordial individual. I mean, like I could not be like happier with our conversation. We can openly disagree with each other and then yet still be nice to one another.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I know. And it's like you can
a
just
civilized society.
Yeah. Like I wish everything was like that. And actually, here's a good example of a video that everybody should watch. And I know like most of the people that are listening, if you are liberal, you're probably gonna like scoff at this idea. But Ben Shapiro and Russell Brand, or
Russell Brand,
or Ben Shapiro and Destiny, both of those online debates, some of the most amazing meeting of the minds that are like total opposites, right? Like in most regards, like Russell Brand is like such a crazy hippie, leaning more liberal, like old school liberal, right? And then Ben Shapiro is so conservative. But they just have like this amazing, like you read through the comments and everybody's like, what a sigh of relief. Like, I wish America was like this, And like,
exactly. That's the whole thing, man. Why are people can't be civil and have a conversation without just taking it to the extreme or getting offended? And I hate that. Honestly, I'm to the point now where I wish they would bring duels back.
Duels back.
Make duels great again.
Yeah, but you'd have to wear gloves and take one off,
or even like an old Wild West showdown. You know what I mean? Like high noon in the streets in front of the saloon, 35 paces, draw.
Well, don't you kind of think that that's in a similar vein though? Like you're so again, I'll make another reference to
because people would. It's the whole thing about people are, who said it, Mike Tyson or whatever. People are tough until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Or everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's what I'm saying. If they brought back duels and some people, they had to hold their own, they wouldn't be saying these things anymore because they'd be like, oh, well, yeah, I might have to actually, get shot at or shoot somebody. Just saying. Hypothetically, not really, but in a way, yes, really.
Well, I mean, I just kind of feel like in general, people are they'll say things that they never would have said in the past, right? Like, look at all the videos you can find of kids getting their asses handed to them because they said something to the wrong person because nobody ever told them no or told them to stop anymore.
Or like the super annoying kids that follow people around and do stupid stuff, like in Walmarts and everything, and then every once in a while, like, is that what you're talking about? Like, yeah, it's
exactly.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, you see the comments and like everybody loves it because like, what video did I watch? Recently I watched this kid. He's like pushing this grown man and pushing him and hitting him, and then, and the guy like, doing his best. He's just being calm because he's like probably a 13-year-old,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this kid swings and hits the dude in the face, and the guy with one push just like grabs him and just like slams him on the ground, and the kid immediately bursts out into crying and starts saying, "Child abuse."
Wow, that's what's like wrong. I mean. People have such a skewed view. That's like the other one where the guy kept talking a bunch of crap to the guy and like saying super racist stuff. So then it was super popular and there was a bunch of memes for a while with the can of like whatever energy drink or Spark or whatever it was. You remember that? And the guy beat him in the face, just hit him like 3 times with it and like knocked the dude out.
Oh my God.
It was an energy drink and they were fighting. Like the guy was just trying to stand in line and buy it.
Wow.
And the guy kept just like needling him, and then went and tried grabbing it out of his hand. And the guy pulled it back, and then he pushed the guy, and the guy just still stood there. And he was like, you could tell he was cocked and locked, ready to just waylay this kid. But he didn't. He held back, and then the kid punched him in the face. And when the kid punched him in the face, he just went bam, bam, bam. And the kid was just bleeding and fell unconscious to the floor. And then he paid for the drink, and I'm pretty sure he left. But I don't remember what it was. It was a can of something. If somebody knows, slide into the DMs and tell me, because that was funny, and I loved it.
Yeah.
But he was like calling him like racist stuff, too. And the guy was like just holding back, being calm, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. In general, though, like the people are willing to like do things that they never would have done in the past because of, I have no idea, man.
Well, they want to be like, they want to be famous on like social media or whatever, which in that case, like going back to my comment, who knows? Maybe I've got like 100 people that like there was a ton of likes on the comment too. Like, even for the hate, for like the 30 comments of hate, or whatever it was. I got tired. Here's the thing, though. I'm getting tired of it filling up my feed to where I can't see like other things that matter.
Yeah. I get tired of like you go on a post like that, right? And then everybody just instantaneously agrees with it and just like, clap hands, you know.
You're so smart. You're so great. Yeah, I know. And I'm not even talking that post, but posts in general. And I know exactly some of them that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like, nobody says anything like otherwise, right? Like
and then somebody does.
and then one person has the cojones to like say, well, actually, I don't know.
Statistically speaking, right? And statistically speaking, we're in a time.
For that regard that you're speaking of, we're in a time when it's maybe the safest it's ever been to be humans.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You know, I started thinking about it though, and my point of view, and I almost wanted to comment on that post, but then give like a super long response to my comment that, you know what, I would rather come across a bear than a human on the trail, male or female, because most people disgust me. They're just human scum, just a scourge upon this earth that are mindless zombies walking around. You can tell I'm just kind of fed up with people today.
Okay, but if we're
for real,
if we're gonna talk
people
about
just
that,
annoy me.
Yeah,
in general.
I mean, if we are gonna open up that can of worms about the bear and the man thing,
oh sorry,
like I mean, in my mind, like, and this comes with having like a nuanced point of view. Like I can see like where many women come from, right? When they say they would rather encounter a wild bear.
Yeah.
Like I can kind of see it, but at the other end of the spectrum, right? Like there's so many things that you're just like not even thinking about. Hey, like how many bears do you come across? You don't really come across them that often. So like our perception of like how they interact with humans is based on the fact that we almost never see them. So like bear encounters are so low, hence bear attacks are so low. So there's that. And then the other thing is, statistically speaking, like the statistics are pretty in general, like one man will assault 1,000 women, more than like 1,000 men will each like assault one woman. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the same thing with poachers, like animal, like deer poachers. Like like 10% of the poachers do like 99% of the poaching. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Is like there's a popular perception that like all men are creeps, when in fact it's actually probably like a very tiny percentage of men that are creeps. They give all of us men the bad name that causes women to think that they want to like encounter a wild bear rather than a
100%. I agree with that, with your entire statement, which leads me to say I would rather see a bear than another human, period.
Well, and then, but then I actually did also get to thinking that like if you were lost in the woods and you saw anybody, like man, woman.
Oh, was that the comment? Was it if you were lost in the woods? Would you rather?
Yeah. Lost in the woods.
See, I don't know. I didn't. Once again, my bad. I didn't fully read the comment.
Boat Trader is America's largest boating marketplace with over 100,000 boats to choose from. We offer simple, comprehensive solutions for those looking to sell, find, and finance new or used boats. Visit BoatTrader.com to get started. Boat Trader, America's largest boating marketplace, offering easy financing and over 100,000 boat listings to choose from. Sell, find, and finance new or used boats on America's largest boating marketplace. Visit BoatTrader.com to get started.
I didn't fully read it.
Yeah.
I didn't fully read it.
Okay, but if you were lost in the woods, it would probably be creepy to see any person.
And then you're like, hey there. Are you? Oh. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally. Here's the thing. If you were lost in the woods and stumbled upon this cabin and it was like this real creepy old dude that said, yeah, come on in. Would you go in?
Would I go in?
Yeah, of course you
I
would.
mean,
Yeah.
I probably stupidly would.
Just saunter on in there.
Just like, hey, what? Oh, is your house made of candy?
Yeah. What do you got in that oven over there? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, your pilot light? You need me to light that for you? Sure, I'll just bend on in there and light that.
Yeah, we've done. Me and my ex-wife hitchhiked around the whole U.S. and Mexico, like back in like 2009. And I remember we did some pretty stupid things while we were hitchhiking around.
Yeah.
Like at one point in time, we were hitchhiking in Mexico, and she got into like a sidecar that
Okay.
he had to latch from the outside, and then I went up front with him.
Oh, that's
It was
sketch.
Yeah, but it was like his bed area, but there was no room else. And
Okay.
yeah, afterwards we were like, wow, like that was like kind of
Couldn't get out there, yeah.
Yeah, because like I mean, this dude was like 3 feet tall. He's like this Mexican guy
It
that was
doesn't
like,
matter. I'm gonna
no,
tell
I
you
know,
right now,
no, I know,
oh.
I know. But in my mind at the time, I was like, oh, he's nice.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but
what's the movie? Hang on. Do you remember the movie? I think it's like Kurt Russell or something. And
you talking about Snake Plissken?
the what? Snakes on
Are
a
you talking?
plane?
No, Snake Plissken. Are you talking about Escape from L.A.?
No, I am not. Okay, so him and his wife go to like a truck stop. Something, I don't remember what happens or whatever, but the trucker's like, "Oh, I can give her a ride because the car breaks down or something," right? And then he's like, "I'll just take her to the next truck stop. She can wait for you, and then she could send the tow truck, make a phone call, and send the tow truck for you." Well, the tow truck comes, but his wife isn't there. And he waits and waits, and it's like 2 years, never finds his wife, right? And so he's like searching for her. And then finally, somehow he ends up like seeing the trucker or something. Something happens, and he ends up like following the trucker, and the trucker does it to another girl, and the girl gets buried alive, and that's what the dude did with his wife. Crazy movie. But it just reminds me of like what could have happened to you.
Yeah. No, I could have been.
Which also, now I'm starting to side with the bear.
Now you're starting to side.
Even though I already did anyway, because I would rather see a bear than people.
Yeah.
Not even that I don't trust people. I just don't like people anymore. Like, you could be a really nice person, but you probably annoy me. Not everybody. Of course, the listeners on this show are probably great because they're listening to the show. So I probably get along with you great.
Yeah.
But everybody else out there.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that like I'll challenge any listener here to try and sneak up on me in the woods. Because like I've been foraging for close to 18 years. I have a habit of, if I hear people coming, which you always do. Nobody's ever quiet.
Right? Yeah, no. Yeah.
I will hide from them and watch them pass like a freaking creepazoid.
Yeah, that just proves that you're the creepy guy that they'd rather see a bear instead of you.
No. But I don't.
If you're not afraid of the creepy guy, Clay, you are the creepy guy.
But I'm just saying, like, I've made a sport out of not getting spotted.
I do the same.
So, like,
I do the same exact thing when I'm morel hunting, and
Yeah.
it's funny because one of the spots I go to is like, we'll call it gray area. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just say gray area. And
Okay.
And I've often encountered other mushroom hunters in the woods, but like sometimes you get close to like the trail, and or like even other mushroom hunters I've had before to where I just stand still, don't move.
Yeah.
In my same spot I was, like, pick the mushroom, stand up, stay in the same spot, and you wouldn't believe how many times they go past you without even noticing you're there. And I'm talking 20 yards away or less.
It is so common that exact thing that you're talking about.
Yeah. I just stand there and shut up. Like, sometimes I've been like, and sometimes I'll even be wearing sunglasses and be like, I'm facing the sun. Like, they're going to see my reflection in my sunglasses, right?
Yeah.
Just to test that theory, nothing.
Dude, people are oblivious. And that exact thing, right? I have been standing in the woods, no joke, like 10 feet from people and have them walk right by me. They are just like in another world, man. I don't know. It's like weird. I can't imagine because like I
can't imagine living like that with blinders on your whole life.
I spot everything in the woods. Like if I'm walking through the woods and there's a person, I am definitely going to see that person.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
like there's no way I'm going to be like that's a freaking person. There's somebody with sunglasses over there standing at.
There's only been like once or twice that's happened to me where I'm like, where the hell did this guy come from?
It's you in the future.
Right. It's me coming out of a different dimensional fabric.
You're testing the hypothesis with the sunglasses on you.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But no, for real, like hunting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always spot all these people and they're walking through the woods oblivious. I'm always like, hey, sorry. Like I see a guy in a tree 100 yards before I get there, but it's the only way to go to where I'm going is going past them because it's like a narrow whatever, or you know what I mean? To where it's like I have no choice. Or if I do have a choice, I like to skirt the people, like, you know, as far as I can, and they don't see me most of the time. It's very rare that I've been like, somebody sees me and I'm just like, sorry, just going way down here, you know, or not even talk at all, but just sorry, you know, with the wave of a hand. But I can't tell you how many times I've had people walk like right underneath me and have no idea that I'm there. And I'm like, how is this possible? A lot of times it's during daylight too. It's not like in the dark.
Yeah.
It's not in the morning in the dark that they're coming into the woods. It's like straight up daylight because they're scared and afraid of the dark, walking in during daylight hours, or they're afraid to go in blind because they'll get lost or whatever. And they do this, and then they walk like right underneath me, and I'm like, hey, where are you headed? Because then they start like trying to set up right next to you.
Yeah. Doesn't it make you wonder though, like, just how crazy good at finding people used to be? Because
like Daniel Boone, like, well, like what was his daughter? What's her face?
Yeah, she got taken.
Rebecca or something, or
one of her, one of his children got taken, and then he freaking like tracked her down. Yeah.
So speaking to the whole wastefulness thing, though, right? Like, and people, you know, we talked about that earlier. Like, in that account and many other accounts that I've read about like that era, even the Indians or whatever you want to call them. Okay, we're not going to get PC on here about that.
The First Nations.
Sure, First Nations. That's a proper way to say it. That were here. They would shoot a buffalo and only eat the hump and keep going on. Leave the rest of the carcass to rot. I just think it'd be so cool to even see a buffalo. Side tangent on that. Like,
yeah.
how cool would it have been back? Like, I guess it's only because we don't see them, even though there was millions on the landscape then. So it was like no big deal, right? Commonplace. But the fact that they would shoot them and leave them too, the only difference was we weren't trying to make them extinct at the time, you know, to try and starve other people out for other reasons. But
I'm gonna go ahead and say that they probably had ample food on the landscape, and I'm gonna agree with last week's guest, Jake, and say I don't believe in waste of animal parts. I think that it's perfectly okay if there's a lot of them to shoot, like for the natives to have shot an animal and just use the hump, because other animals are going to eat the rest.
I do believe that's the case. I mean, but just people say how like, oh, it's so waste. That's what I'm saying. Like it's so wasteful, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, they're just eating the hump and leaving them. But then what was I talking about before?
We were talking about Daniel Boone and
Daniel Boone and Rebecca and tracking her or whatever the daughter was, right? Like, yeah, you're talking a whole like what? Well, I guess it was two different cases, right? Twice that happened because once he got captured looking for somebody or something.
Yeah, he got captured.
Yeah,
but the point I was trying to make is like, okay, say right now somebody was like, Luke, you need to run and hide. You know, there's like the communists are coming. Like, you're gonna be like, okay.
I'd be like,
you just go.
Heck with that. I'm not hiding. Let's.
All right, but I'm just saying.
Let's rock.
Like,
no.
Hypothetically, though, you could hide in the woods and probably safely assume that like probably nobody's gonna find you,
unless it's Man Tracker. Remember that show?
No, I don't. But okay,
dude.
But
that's right up your alley.
Yeah, but back in the day, dude, everybody could find you. Like people had vast wilderness to escape to.
Yeah,
and you would be, but like somehow less people, vast wilderness, they're still finding you out in the woods because people are not oblivious. They're not going to walk by somebody 20 feet away. They're going to be like, I see a little hump in the ground. There's probably a guy buried in leaves.
What
right
was
there.
that movement before I came up here? Yeah, totally. Yeah. Totally agree with that. Yeah.
So
when you were a kid though, did you like test the theory of like how many cars would see you if like you hid in the ditch or like different things like, you know, when you're like probably like 10, 12, you know?
I never did that, but I definitely have always done the thing where if I'm in the woods and there's people coming, I'll hide and see if they even spot me.
Yeah.
And nobody ever spots me. I had a friend that I won't name from he used to be associated with a group up here.
Oh.
And he had a thing where because he was really big in the primitive skills community.
Oh.
He had a thing where he would try to sneak up on a group at like a campsite
with what is it, acoustic, right?
And he would take a crap while he was looking at him and try not to get caught.
What? What kind of weirdos are you friends with?
Hey man, he was a weird guy. I didn't make him do it. I took no part in it, and I've never done this.
So you're saying he purposely did it, so like hoping people would see him, but nobody ever did? Or like was this multiple occurrences or just once?
No, multiple occurrences. And he would try. No, he did not want to get seen. I'm saying he would purposely sneak up next to a campground and just try to drop a deuce.
Oh, jeez.
Right next to somebody's campsite and then not have them see him. Like, because he was trying to practice his stealth.
That's weird. When we were kids, we used to play a game. We called it Sneak. And that's like one person would have to go around, track the other kids, like, and find you. And you would have to like sneak around and hide from this person. And we would do it like in the dark, like at dusk or dark at night. And motion lights were a mofo. That's what was your giveaway. You know what I mean? Because you're like, you see them coming around the corner and like you can see their shadow from like the ambient light from somebody's house. And then you're like, crap, where do I go? And you like go to sneak around the corner of a garage and then boop, the motion light goes on. You know, like we used to do that. That was fun.
Yeah. I've partaken in a lot of games like that throughout my life, even when
as an adult, because you love
even as an adult. Like Me and some friends used to work at this natural food store when I worked at down in Metro Detroit area. I had a job at a
Was it
natural
called
food store.
Whole Foods?
No, it was called the Natural Food Patch.
Okay.
All the stocking was in the or so like I was a stock guy, so I would just have to go in the basement to grab stuff to bring upstairs to stock the shelves. And it was a big, lots of rows, and me and all the guys that worked together would try to like sneak up and tap another person without being caught. But we all became like so intuitive about like,
Oh
there's
yeah,
somebody behind me.
absolutely. Yeah, you do. But that shows how desensitized and numb people are to like the entire world around them.
I know. I scare the crap out of Madeline on a semi-regular basis.
I don't do
I'll
that
hide,
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hide somewhere, and then like behind a door or something, and she'll walk in, and I'll be like, "Hello," and I'll just say it like that. I'll just go, "Hello."
See, I used to do that to my wife, but it got to the point. There was a couple times where I did it where she was like almost crying, like, "No!" and like freaked out, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry, I won't do it anymore." But yeah, I used to come up on her like in the yard, like she'd be doing things and have no clue that I'm coming up there. And honestly, I told her, I'm like, I'm only doing this for your own good at this point. Like, you need to like situational awareness, kid. You know?
Yeah. But otherwise, some man's gonna get you, and a bear is not gonna have a problem either.
Yeah. Then the bear will find your dead body and eat it.
Yeah. Oh man.
But for real, I don't know. We're just two old farts living in a world that's racing past us. It reminds me of a book. And it's actually one of my favorite books, just because favorite fiction books, because it's like historical fiction, so it's fairly period accurate. It's a giant book, kind of boring but awesome at the same time, just because I'm infatuated with that kind of stuff.
Lord of the Rings.
No, but that's a good. That's a good one. No, it's 13 Moons by Charles Frazier.
Okay.
And it's this kid that his parents are like dead. His aunt and uncle are raising him, and he's going to this like private school, and he gets sold into indentured servitude because they can't afford to pay the school anymore, and like they owe debt to the school that his parents had him enrolled in. And so he goes off, and like this dude that buys his debt and takes him in an indentured servitude, takes him all the way into like the mountains of West Virginia, which was like a territory, whatever territory at the time. And he meets this drunken Indian that comes into the general store all the time and like just gets drunk and lays in front of the fire and stuff, but like slowly learns to speak his language, talk to him, becomes friends with him, becomes a member of the tribe, and like all these different things. And he thinks he's got his finger like on the pulse, right? But he's always just too far behind because he's removed from like the fast-paced world, living where he lives. And eventually it just becomes, can I ruin the book? You care? Okay.
I don't care. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So like there's this whole love story entangled with it and everything. But in the end, he just becomes this bitter old man that had tried to like save these lands for like his tribe and made all these convoluted political deals that were so complex nobody could even understand them. And eventually all the land just got squandered away anyway. And he's just this bitter old man that sits there, and they put a rail through his property, like, and these trains go by, and they told him he can't use buckshot, he can only use bird shot. And he's just this angry old man that sits on his porch and shoots at the trains as they go by.
So what an uplifting story.
But it's good because it's like it kind of embodies like the type of person that just can't, you know what I mean? Like the world is passing you by and you can't just quite grasp where it's going. You know what I mean? That's how I feel we are sitting here right now.
Yeah. I feel that for sure.
Maybe not the shooting at the train, but
so one quick question before we wrap up. We should probably do a little bit of talking about what we've been eating lately. You done any? I know you've been fishing because you've been sending me pictures.
Yeah.
But Yeah. So, what kind of like wild food pursuits have you been up to?
Lately it's been ramps, um, morels. Haven't found a ton of morels. Honestly, I don't know if like it's done before I knew it was done, and the ones I found, I only found because they were just starting to come up, and then like the weather swing, like that huge swing of weather that we had for a week, kind of like that was the end of it. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, morels are in like full swing here, but I don't
yeah,
give a hoot about them really, so I'm not picking them.
and I don't necessarily care about them either. My buddy just found a bunch of golden oysters. He's going to bring me some. He
Oh,
said
sweet.
they were fresh. They weren't real buggy, which is nice.
Hmm.
So I'm going to eat some golden oysters, and we're actually going trout fishing in the morning. Uh,
Oh, exciting.
yeah, I'm kind of over it at this point, but I just want to take him so he can catch some. Um,
Why are you over it?
I've eaten a couple already and just, I'm done. Like I'm ready to move on to the next thing. I'm ready to start catfishing and have some catfish
Mm.
nuggets and, you know, uh, yeah, I mean, I'm also, dude, I am super jacked right now. I know a lot of people might knock it, but the tag, I just drew a bison tag and
Oh, yeah.
I'm super excited about it just because to me it's iconic, right? Like, even though I'm hunting it on an Indian reservation, I mean, they are wild. They roam the entire, lands that
Hmm.
these people have. But to me, it's like it's just an iconic thing of the West that was lost. And to me, there's so much nostalgia and like
What is your percentage
mystique.
for yeah. What is your
Percentage for
percentage of
success? I don't know.
yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm
I
gonna
just
be
didn't know if
listen, 100%, 110%, because that's what I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
give
shoot.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, that's
y-
pretty awesome though, man. I
yeah, I
mean,
don't know success rates. I don't know. I mean, if you had a gun, I'd say the success rates were probably pretty high. With a bow,
you're gonna go with the bow?
you dang right, I'm gonna go with a bow. What do you think I'm gonna go with?
You
If they'd let me use a spear and I could try, I'd try.
really? Hmm.
Absolutely.
I think I just do a gun.
Listen,
Just
think about it for a second. Spearing bison on the Great Plains.
why don't you just run them into a pit?
Or, well, if they'd let me, but I think there'd be a lot of collateral damage there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
um, yeah, no, I think it's cool. I would love to actually spear one. That's probably not in the cards, but yeah, with a bow, if they, I believe they will let me use a bow, but I think it depends on how successful I am within like the first 2 days, whether or not they're going to continue to let me pursue it with the bow.
mm,
You know what I mean? Because there is only a certain time allotted to me, and um, my Indian guide will be with me and tell me like, okay, yeah, you need to switch to a gun, and if I can't get up on them or stalk up on them or whatever.
when are you heading out there?
I'm not sure either October or November. I
Oh,
still have
okay.
to
So
arrange that, but yeah. And then I'm gonna hopefully come back with like 400 pounds of processed meat already butchered and in a cooler, ready to go.
are you? So this isn't like one of those tags where you just get to like shoot it and just like take the horns and give everybody. You're like actually get to keep the whole thing.
The whole thing is mine. The
Wow.
whole thing.
Cool.
I'm saving the tongue. I'm saving the heart, the liver. Um, I'll save you some liver. I'm sure there'll be plenty. Yeah, I'm
That's pretty awesome,
excited.
man.
I'm excited. I'm gonna save the tongue. We're gonna make some tacos out of it.
Nice.
The hide is going to be kept and tanned. I probably won't tan it just because one, I don't want to screw it up if it's my only freaking bison. Like
Yeah.
that's a huge like
Yeah.
mistake. Not to mention it's huge, but I'll probably get it tanned and use it as like a sleeping bag, like so I could be cool like Donnie Dust. Um,
Hmm.
you know, so yeah, I'm just excited. I'm not going to get it mounted. Um, I'm probably just going to get like the skull. And I told my kids I might put like a red LED behind it so like the eyes glow on the wall.
Yeah. I'm so much more of a fan of the European mount anyway, personally.
Well, one, it's super cost effective, which actually allows you more money to go hunting more. So,
Yeah.
Two, yes, it's cool. I do like skulls. It kind of brings you back to more of like a Nordic or Germanic type scenario to where, yes, they probably had skulls of certain things adorning their dwellings as well, right? So, yeah.
I'm just like personally, and no offense to anybody listening, it's just not my thing, but like personally, I am like a little off put when I go into a house that has like tons of half mounts. It just seems odd to me, and it's just not my style. And again, it's like my own dad has like half mount like hanging off
Shoulder
his
mount.
wall.
Yeah, dear. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I'm not for it, but I don't do it. I don't have a single other than squirrels that I've mounted just to practice taxidermy. I don't have any other animals mounted. They're all, and the one thing I do want to do is, have you ever seen, I can't remember the dude's name, but he does all these like squirrel things to where
with like the cowboys and Indians and ninjas and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the ones where he does them where like he taxidermies a rabbit and then like puts them on the rabbit and they're riding the rabbit, like shooting arrows and stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah, I know that is pretty cool. I would have that.
Yeah.
But then that could only go in like a man cave. I would not be allowed to put that into the general house.
Oh, see, my wife doesn't want me to or like it, but I think if I was really like, it was something that I was super passionate about, she'd probably let me.
You'd be super passionate about a squirrel riding a rabbit.
Yeah. Or a deer, a zebra, whatever it is that I'm like, oh man, I have to get this mounted. If I did, I think she would just be supportive, mostly because she didn't want to crush my dreams, because she does enough of that anyway. So,
yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say crushes my dreams. She keeps me grounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm a dreamer.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
I guess you get that you're calling me a dreamer.
No, I'm saying
you're a dreamer. I get that a lot.
I actually think that in general in life, I mean, this goes back to the political talk that we were talking about earlier. I think it's important to have all sides, and that includes, men and women, to balance each other out, because like me and you can have, too much masculine energy, and if we were just left to our own devices, we'd be eating off like paper plates and just like, just eating just like terrible meals,
I don't know. Well, I don't know about the terrible meals and all that, but yeah, my house would be cluttered. It would have just multiple working surfaces, not a whole lot of furniture. I do have a buddy there are actually two of them like that, which it's like they're now at the point in their life where like both of them divorced, like never going back to getting married, complete bachelor life.
But then you go over their house and you're like, at least me, I mean, here's my perspective. You go over to one of these older bachelors' houses and you're like, this is disgusting.
Well, so like I went to my buddy's house and like he's got like all these workstations set up and like rolling toolboxes that have different things for whatever he's working on. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like I wish I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, not a whole lot of places to sit around here other than the two recliners you got, like.
Yeah. Yep.
Your dog takes one. Where am I going to sit?
You just got to sit cross-legged on the floor, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that.
So balance.
Yeah. We are way less domesticated without a partner to balance us out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, then also you too have a balancing effect on the woman you're with, where whatever. I mean, there could just be like excesses in any department, and then you can have a balancing effect.
But I have excesses in all departments. That's the problem.
Yeah. but this goes back to everything, like, so left, right, they balance each other out. You need both sides, Oh,
so, without a doubt. But we also need civil discourse.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
and then
how many times have we talked about this now? Quite a few. I don't know. I think it just bothers us to the point.
Yeah.
What are you doing foraging right now? I don't even care about left, right, center anymore. What are you doing right now and eating?
Like probably realistically like a month behind you guys as far as like the foraging schedule goes. So,
But are you?
you know,
Like,
yeah,
really?
yeah, I think we probably are. Like, we're just now starting to kind of really get into the season of greens. Like we've
Yeah.
been eating a lot of greens lately. Um, I just made a dinner. I just like cooked the other night, and mind you, I just taught a foraging class last weekend,
Hmm.
and Willow, my middle child, came with me to the class, and she announced to the whole class. I laughed so hard at this. She announced to the whole class that I am like a prison chef. And then my food is
You
so
just serve a
terrible.
bunch of slop and mush. Yeah, okay.
Uh,
I could see that.
no, but I'm notoriously like not like I might sometimes cook something delicious, you
Hmm.
know, but most of the time when I try to cook like a good meal, it ends up really bad. And this is what I did the other day. I um I had all these greens and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make some pasta. And I even texted Alan Burgo and I was like, hey man, like what's a good way to cook greens? Or garlic mustard, because I was like, I can't stand garlic mustard. And his
See, I
reply was,
love garlic mustard.
well,
He said
anyway,
burn it to the ground with a flamethrower or
no,
something,
no,
probably.
no, no, no. He said, put it in a black garbage bag, tie the top, and let
That's what he says. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
light it on
yeah,
fire. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it was just like, so I cooked this whole meal, spent like literally probably like an hour and a half cooking dinner, and then I'm eating it, and I'm like, ah, God, it's got that garlic mustard taste, and like, um. I don't really perceive bitter as much, I guess, because I've eaten bitter for so
Hmm.
long that it's like not something that's really like that big of a perception to me. My
Yeah.
kids and Madeline, they're all like, "Oh my God, this is so bitter." They're just like,
See, but that's the thing. Like, kids do have a more sensitive palate because it's still developing. That
yeah.
when they do sense bitter things, and that's why a lot of kids don't like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, all that stuff, because it
Mhm.
does have, notes of bitterness to it, and like it's just too much for their little palates to handle.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's funny though.
And we've been
My,
introduced to so much sugar, right? Like, let's be real, it's in everything.
yeah, but my kids, all those things that you mentioned, it's almost comical. My kids have grown up eating wild bitter greens, right?
Yeah.
So like when you give them things like kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, they're like, "Oh my God, these are so delicious
Yeah,
and
my kids love
sweet."
them too. Yeah.
They're like, "Thank God it's not that bitter crap he's feeding us normally."
But that's what's it's like, okay, you hate garlic mustard. I
Uh,
like garlic mustard. There's only been a few times where I'm like, that one's not that great. But
yeah.
most of the time, like today, I went on a ruck and I was just like alongside the trail, just grabbing garlic mustard and all kinds of other stuff and just nibbling on it like as I'm going, you know?
It's just got such an off-putting flavor to me. Like,
I like
and
it.
I'm not alone in that. There's a lot of people that just don't like it. Um, but then equally, there's a lot of people who do like it, like you.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
like things that bring like that bitterness with like that heat to it, like the opposing kind of horseradishy heat with like to me it's like a broccoli that's way more bitter or a kale maybe. Not even a kale, probably like closer to a broccoli. A broccoli that's way more bitter and has like a little bit of horseradish. That's what I taste.
yeah.
And I
Well,
like
uh,
horseradish.
yeah, I like horseradish. I don't get any of that spicy stuff. To me, it just tastes like it's just got like a bad taste. Like
Oh,
there's
I
just
like yeah, I
some
like that taste.
so yeah, I don't know, and it's not the bitter because like I can eat bitter greens.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody says. Oh, you don't like garlic mustard? Must be because it's bitter. And I'm like, nope,
No.
it's not because it's just I don't like the taste.
So, do you
Um,
not like a lot of other things in the mustard family that are wild though? Like,
no, I love them, man. So we just went out and filmed an episode of Foraging the 50.
yeah,
Like and subscribe on YouTube.
I
And
love that. That was good. So natural. It
um,
flowed.
um, and we were in Arizona, and there was so many freaking wild mustard greens. Like I can't believe how many um introduced mustard greens there are to Arizona.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'd never think it, right? You're like, oh, it's a desert. Like there can't be like I'm like sitting there imagining like we're gonna be, before I went out
Looking
there.
at cacti and
Yeah,
freaking.
yeah. And we're like eating greens, and we made like a whole salad. Like the meal scene was like a big salad, and he took like desert rhubarb and like crisped it with sugar and made like
Mm,
little we like broke up desert rhubarb like flakes essentially and like put it on the salad
sounds
and
good.
like had all this like wild mustard greens. No, I love mustard greens. I love the whole brassicaceae, like
Yeah,
I love
except
it.
for
Like
garlic mustard, right?
yeah, garlic mustard has got
Yeah.
such an off-putting
Well,
taste
that's
to me.
like pennycress, right? Like that has got some of the most heat, probably. You know what I mean? Like,
I like pennycrest.
yeah, me
I think it's
too.
pretty good.
I'd love
Yeah.
just eating it like I'm eating wasabi or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't know. Well, you been doing anything else, like preserving anything or anything so far?
Um, I have like so I mean we've been doing I collected some ramps and Madeline has made some pesto. Like we will make like ramp hummus. Like she made that. Like I should say she makes, not, because like she's way better at this
Yeah,
than me.
yeah, we know.
Um um
You're
I
a prison chef. She
I'm a
is
prison chef. So
she is
for me,
classically trained.
yeah. So for me, the thing that I'm pretty decent at is making lacto fermented things. So like
Yes.
I'll take the bulbs and I'll make lacto fermented. And this year, one of the things that I've really wanted to nail because I've never been good at, and I've been putting in the garden almost every 4 or 5 days, I'm sowing a couple rows of radishes.
I love
So
radishes. And I
so I
love
have
lacto fermenting them, dude.
yeah, so that's what my plan is. Like this year, I'm gonna try to do a ton of lacto fermented radishes with other wild foods.
You know
So
what's wild though? Like the radishes, they just turn into like this white eyeball,
oh really?
and all the color just completely gone out of them, and they're just white. Like all the
Really?
yeah. The you so you've never done it then?
No, no, I've never done
Oh
it. No,
yeah.
'cause-
So
so the backstory is that I've been gardening for like 20 plus years,
yeah.
and I've never been good at growing radishes ever, right? So this year I was like, we're putting a farm stand in our front yard, and I'm like, I really want to have a crop that I can like just like easily have out in the garden, or sorry, out in the farm stand.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to learn how to grow radishes. So I've been watching all these videos and like learning the techniques and sowing them like, at good intervals. And I just thinned a radish earlier, and it was already over an inch long.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, I'm finally getting like how
So
to grow a radish.
watermelon radishes are amazing too. Like
Oh,
they're
really?
awesome for yeah, because they're a little bit bigger. Um, a little like they have like a hint of like sweetness to them. There's still the heat,
Mhm.
but there's like a hint of like weird sweetness to them. And you slice them and they just look so cool. And then because it's like red on the outside, a green like or like maybe they might be a different color on the outside, and then it's like a red like hue that goes in, so it's like the burst of like watermelon, on the inside of them with the white.
Yeah.
Super good though. Awesome on salads. They're like green. I think they're greenish on the outside. They're good though. I
Yeah.
had a friend that gave me a bunch of them, and I was like, oh, I should plant these. And then I planted them, and I forgot that I planted them in that area, so I never weeded that area. And then I was like, oh, yeah, there's like,
Yeah.
but normally I
Um,
grow radishes and I love them, but I've lacto fermented them. The color comes out, but it changes like your brine into this weird like reddish color. Like you should probably drink the brine, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you
I
drink your brine a lot?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I don't. I should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll drink it. I'll take it to work with me. I'll like just chuck hard-boiled eggs in it, you know?
And let them soak in it. I've never done that.
Yeah, and then just like fish them out for lunchtime.
So
Just
do you
like hard.
like pickled eggs a lot too then?
Yeah, actually, I never liked them before, and then Madeline started doing them this year, and she's been doing all kinds of like wacky different recipes. We had like curried eggs and
Oh.
all kinds. Yeah, just weird things.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're good, man.
So my lacto ferment thing that I'm doing right now, and you and I talked about it the other day a little bit. I was like, man, I've got a whole bunch of extra rams. I want to do something with them. So bulbs and stems, went in, separated them. You know what I mean? And so like the stems are still in there, the bulbs are in there. I put a whole bunch of cut leaf toothwort and then wild onions. You know, the ones that have like the real tiny little bulb, but like the flat blade of, you know, like the leaves that come out. Those wild onions in there too. And then what are those called, by the way? What's the actual name?
Are you talking Allium canadense?
Maybe.
You're talking the native?
Yeah, the native flat-bladed ones, not the hollow like tubes, the round ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're talking Allium canadense, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Allium canadense. Yep, that's what I said. Clay. A capitilla.
Okay.
But put a bunch of those in there. And then you suggested throwing some carrots in there. So I did that, and then I put like a little tiny bit of curry powder, bunch of red pepper flakes, cayenne pepper, chili powder, and a bunch of others, and like pepper and some other stuff in there, and then like, and I put it at layers of like the mixture of the spices, so that way it like kind of permeates. It's in every level rather than having to like shake it and get it to where it's in every level like that. And then and put that in to let it lacto ferment, and hopefully that's going to be amazing. Like a little bit of like a kimchi-ish vibe going on with some ramps.
That sounds amazing, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. And some carrots.
Yeah. So how much garden space are you working with there?
I got a ton of garden space that I could use.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
I do not utilize all 5 acres. No, not for that. No, I should.
No. I meant like, I meant like, how big is your garden? Like, is what I'm asking. Like, is it something that you guys like? Is it like a big operation? You guys grow a lot of stuff?
Yeah, none of that was grown. Are you just asking in general, like nothing to do with my fermented stuff?
Yeah, no, I'm asking just in general.
Like I don't know, 30 by 40, 50.
Okay, so you guys, it's a pretty decent sized garden though.
And then after that, then I till like 2 more patches. One of them I plant pumpkins and sweet corn in, and then the other patch I plant sunflowers and stuff
Beans?
like that. No, I don't. I should. But I plant like sunflowers, and sometimes I'll put like squash in there too. Like, you know, like butternut squash and stuff, and they'll kind of like vine out past it, but they climb up the sunflowers a little bit. The Goliath sunflowers is what I plant. The real big ones. Yeah.
Man, that's cool. Well, I am reaching that point where I'm turning into a pumpkin.
Yeah. No, it's just, yeah. Last year I didn't plant any pumpkins or anything. And it's a good thing I didn't, because it was so dry. None of it would have grown. But yeah. So how good are the lacto fermented ramps? Because you've done it before.
Lacto fermented ramps?
Yeah.
Oh, so
fantastic.
Good, man.
But so I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never done leaves. I've only just done.
Well, I only put the leaves in at the very top. Mm-hmm. So I put the stems, not the leaves, but the stems. You know. Mm-hmm. And it was Allium tricoccum, so they're the good ones. I don't really like. It seems like the Burdickii are like way more mild.
They are really not that good. Yeah. I actually, it's kind of funny, you know, like I'll be out in the woods in the patches that we have access to, the private land, and you come across some of those, like, because there's a mix of them.
Oh, really? That's weird.
And me and Madeline will be like, ugh, just skip right over those ones. Like,
see, I've never seen them to where they're mixed. Like, there's ramp patches where it's one, or it's ramp patches where it's another. And so they have different flowering times, different seed times, so they don't overlap, and their distribution can be completely right next to each other, and they won't hybridize. I'm just saying, in my area, I haven't ever seen it to where it's like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, it does seem like the Burdickii are a little bit behind the tricoccum.
Yeah.
Why do we name them phallus names too? I've always wondered that.
What do you mean?
Like Burdickii, tricoccum.
Yes. Oh my God. I never thought of that.
You did now?
No. Now I did. Yeah. So Burdickii is obviously like some butthole botanist, named it after himself. Like back when that was like the cool thing to do, where you'd like name yourself. Like, oh, I'm gonna name this plant after me because I found it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Burdickii, and then Trichockum. I couldn't tell you. I don't really understand it. Maybe it has to do with the fact that they're like 3 cockums.
Yeah, sure.
It's got 3 cockums.
That makes sense. Totally about the cockums.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Anything else? Any foraging classes coming up? Any of that good stuff?
I mean, I don't know when this is going to come out, but potentially, if it does come out in time, I have a foraging class in Grand Rapids, Michigan that still has some space available, and that is May 18th. So,
okay. Yes, this will definitely be out by then.
Yeah, so May 18th, Grand Rapids, Michigan. You can find out that information at www.nomiforager.com, NOMI forager.com. And
I want to thank the people that went on and they bought stickers or a mug or a shirt, whatever they bought from the Publicly Challenged store. Keep it up. Keep buying things on the store, because if you don't, I'm threatening, and I mean it though. I will shut it down. So get on there, publiclychallenged.com. Buy yourself something cool. Get some cool swag. Show off all to your friends that you like them thick. 2 C's, because you like them voluptuous, big-bodied, full-figured deer. I mean, who doesn't like a big old fatty doe? And, get yourself some picking fatties, because 'tis the season to pick the fatties of the mushrooms, morels, and, all that good stuff.
I did also want to say that we had our giveaway, and the winner is Thomas Williams. So shout out to Thomas Williams for winning the forager bag and the shirt.
Mystery Ranch, that's a legit little foraging bag. So
yeah, I wish I would have won.
Huh? Wow.
I wish I would have won.
You seem like a fanny pack kind of guy anyway. So
just kidding, man.
Standing in the woods, staring at people with your fanny pack. How close did they get?
Actually, I want to re-extend that invite. If you are a follower of the podcast, I dare you to try to sneak up on me in the woods.
I'm not only going to sneak up on you, but I'm going to come with a red paintbrush and streak across your neck.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, so then everybody else will know that I got you, sucker.
Yeah. Sounds good. And on that note, we will see you guys next time.
All right.
And once again, thank you so much for listening to the Publicly Challenged podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please subscribe on whatever platform it is you're listening to. Also, if you could leave a review, that would help us out. And you can check us out on Instagram or at publiclychallenged.com. And once again, thank you so much for listening to the show.
You'd think, with 4 of us spread out on a tiny island, that the task of tagging a whitetail would not be a big thing. But, as I've learned, no matter where I've been, whitetails can be damn tricky.
Pursuing wild game in wild places. Tune in to Hunt Stand Presents Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Waypoint TV, the destination for outdoor entertainment. Pursuing wild game in wild places. Tune in to Hunt Stand Presents Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Waypoint TV, the destination for outdoor entertainment.